I'm a bit worried about Carl.
Murder, poltergeist and ghostly apparitions still haunt the team in the USA.
I can't explain this.
Most Haunted's 3-week investigation of California's Queen Mary enters its final passage. And after a far from welcome stay in the ship's highest levels, we prepare to move down into the dark recesses of a vessel that carried thousands and said to still be home to many disturbed and restless souls. Built for Cunard in Clydebank, Scotland, the vessel first set sail in the mid-30s, before the onset of World War II forced a makeover that contributed to the Queen Mary's part in the Allied victory. She ferried thousands of troops and prisoners of war across the Atlantic in her role as the Grey Ghost, and became so integral that Hitler wanted her sunk, an order that was never fulfilled, as she soon returned to her passenger line service. Now docked in Long Beach, 22 miles south of Los Angeles, the Queen Mary was sold to the United States in 1966 and has served as a hotel, restaurant and a museum ever since. But at times, the dry docked ship can offer a far from pleasant stay with ghosts said to stalk the dozen decks. Some tragic pleasure seekers, others a victim of a cruel and agonizing death. And it is these same sad souls that Most Haunted hopes to meet in what promises to be another exciting and extensive investigation.
And here we are about to undergo investigation number 2 of the Queen Mary. The first part, amazing, although a lot of it was above decks. It's been great. Fantastic things have happened already, but this is the bit we've really been looking forward to. This is where we go down into the depths. This is the dark part of the Queen Mary. Possibly the scariest part of all is the first-class swimming pool. And frequently, 2 ghosts are seen in there, 2 ladies, one reputedly from the 1930s and another from the 1960s. It is, there's no doubt about it, the scariest place of the whole ship. Where the engines were removed, there is now a huge, dark void, haunted of course, possibly one of the most scary places on the whole ship. And I'm sure that some of us will be doing vigils in that very scary area later on tonight. This is the first time that we've ever done a 3-week investigation of any property. But with so many ghosts, with so many hauntings, I think it's the only way to do this ship justice. And I presume that with such a long investigation, we'll get more results than we've ever had before. This is something really special, and in my opinion, the best place we've ever been to. I just hope that it lives up to expectations.
We're now midway through our 3-week investigation, and the prospect of more extensive paranormal research continues to excite our parapsychologist, Kieran O'Keefe.
Kieran, I'm not looking forward to tonight's investigation on the Queen Mary because, of course, we're going down deep underneath the main part of the ship, sort of 6 fathoms below sea level, where it's all dark, horrible. There's many ghost stories there. Many people have seen things. There's no natural light, and I know I'm not the only one who's a little bit nervous about it.
You're right, it's environmentally very different to the first investigation. There we were actually in rooms that were very similar to ones that we're staying in while we're on the Queen Mary. They're quite comfortable, they're fully furnished. We're going down into the bowels of the ship, the engine room, swimming pool area, other areas, which they're claustrophobic and they're not comfortable. Immediately as you go into those areas, you expect them to be haunted. So even if there is no previous eyewitness testimony of paranormal activity, there's an expectation of ghosts and anything paranormal within those areas.
What part of the investigation tonight and what specific area are you personally looking forward to going there?
Well, Actually, it's unusual for me to say this because any of the areas that are in the lower decks I'm equally excited about for different reasons. The swimming pool area, there have been previous eyewitness reports of young ladies, a little girl giggling, that sort of thing, and we know that drownings have occurred in that area, so we know that there's information we can check up on. There we'll be looking for auditory phenomena, but also apparitions. In Shaft Alley, which is part of the engine room, we know of a rather gruesome death when a chap was actually caught in door 13, unlucky for some. However, mediums and other people passing through there have picked up screams. Some people have even seen what they felt were apparitions, a general sense of presence. So we've got two very different looking locations, but a lot of previous eyewitness testimony.
The first part of our investigation had culminated in an oppressive manner, with both Carl and then John becoming the latest victims of room B340, all of which followed Richard's disturbing encounter in this same traumatic environment. But whilst Richard and Carl had managed to stave off their traumatic feelings, how had John fared when overwhelmed by the room's chilling oppression?
John. All right, get him out, get him out, get him out, get him out.
I'm fine.
You're not fine, John.
What's wrong? Just hang on a minute. Well, John, what's happening? Just explain something.
He's cold as He's cold as What are you feeling, John? John, what are you feeling? Let's get him out, get him out, get him out. John.
No, I want to stay. I'd like to stay.
You sure? What are you feeling? Tell me what you're feeling, mate. Huh? Are you upset about Just
I feel
relax.
really, really upset.
Right, relax. Just relax. I know. I'm just trying to do what I've learned from David, that's all. So just bear with me.
I just feel real sadness.
Sadness in what way? A loss?
I don't know, I just felt like I had to lie in the bed and just lie there and just contemplate. I don't know what it is. No, not lost. I just feel like I'm not myself.
Right.
I feel better now. I feel better now talking. I feel better. I'm snapping out of this, but I've just felt completely overtaken by something, and I felt like I was.
God, I wish David would say that sounds like
weird.
Past life. That's past life. That could have been.
I had a tear coming down here. I felt it.
Mm-hmm. Was it like you'd done something wrong that you were sorry for?
I wasn't scared though. I was more shocked. I don't know. I don't know. I just know that I felt upset. I felt upset, and there was a tear coming down. And first of all, I felt shivering, and I felt the blood go to my head. I said to you, I felt the blood going to my head, and then basically, I felt shivering. I felt this kind of tingling sensation, and then I felt lying down. Then I just felt like I had no control. I just lay down. That's it. I'm okay now. I'm all right. I'm okay.
Sure.
Yeah. That was brilliant. That was so good.
Thankfully, John would soon recover, but his description of a dark depression isn't our first chilling encounter in room B340. Worse still, we now face the dangerously deep recesses of this former cruise ship, and what waited down there would leave us all lost for words.
Hear that?
Welcome back aboard the Queen Mary, Most Haunted's home for 3 whole weeks, as we take our search for life after death to an even greater level. However, the deeper that we delve, the more worrying the sequence of events become. And with spiritualist mediums Derek Okora and David Wells joining us in California, it was time once more to explore the Queen Mary. On D-Deck is the supposedly haunted swimming pool, but just as we began our investigation with Derek, a noisy nearby interruption gave us another stark reminder of where we were.
Hear that?
was that?
You missed that, could you?
That was down here.
Sounded like a door.
Derek.
Yeah.
And you said it's coming. It did sound like it came from down there.
From down here, it sounded down there. Hear that?
What was that?
The source of this noise appeared to come from the now empty pool below us. But before we could move on, another figure loomed large in this stark, eerie environment.
Firstly, there seems to be an irritation of a female, a spirit female, and I think she does the actual walk up on this top area, and it's like as if she's shocked that it's like a realization she's a spirit person now, and a memory beforehand was being in the water. And the only way I can put it down to is like as if, you know, I feel here now as if she was standing here, she'd be just be dripping of water. And she's in a bathing costume, and she just can't believe that she's no longer physical. It's like the immediate shock that she's a spirit person, still not understanding she's a spirit person. And she drowned. Without a doubt, she drowned because it's like her not coming to terms with that she has drowned. She was an accomplished swimmer, she could swim, thanks Sam, but something happened. I don't know if it was a cramp. I feel she had some kind of shock in the water that stopped her breathing, and she drowned. There's 2 spirit ladies here, Evie. Not 1, 2 of them.
Right.
Who are, go on, Sam. Yeah. That's why I need to walk down.
Okay.
Sam asked me to go, where it is, what it is.
Downstairs.
Can I please, yeah? This lady, okay, the first one that I get up there, she's virtually always at the top. And I feel she would be seen looking over. This one has not come out of this spot here. It's like as if she's drowned. Go on. The first one, 1930. The second one in here, Sam gives it to me very clearly. Oh my God. 1960. 1960. That's relatively.
So there was a drowning here in 1960?
This woman, this spirit woman, drowned here.
There's two drownings.
2 drownings. Go on. Catherine Miller. Catherine, very clearly Sam's given me. Catherine Miller. Go on. And because she's of a different time with the other lady who walks, I doubt very much whether they come into contact with each other, you know, seeing each other because of a different time frame, 30 years or something. And basically what she wants to do, the spirit of this woman, is go to the changing rooms. Why, I don't know. This spirit lady and also the other spirit lady, there's a vortex. This is the vortex of this ship for entry and exit.
So every single ghost spirit comes through the changing rooms?
Yes, in visitation.
Right, yeah.
But I'm also getting this, like a lot of people speaking at the same time, and it's males' voices, groups, and a lot of them, and it's like not so much down here, but I want to go up and up and up, all around, and it's like as if they're lying down, and some of them are sitting up, and some of them are talking, and what have you, and without a doubt, they were. The feelings that are coming here was soldiers.
Yeah.
A lot of soldiers. Yeah. A lot of them. And Americans as well. Mm-hmm. Americans. A lot of American soldiers. There's a lot of movement in this place. I feel more so here, and a lot of knocks, like we heard before, happening here on a regular basis, more so than anywhere else in the ship, I feel, because we've entered the area of the vortex, and it's a very large vortex.
Right.
And when they do, it's not like 1 or 2 of them coming in at a time. there's a lot of them come through.
Right.
And so, of course, this actual area of the swimming pool on the 2 levels at any given time could be housing the energies of maybe 10, 12, 15 at a time.
Gosh, right.
All, going about, moving and what have you. So they would cause in the atmosphere a lot of noises.
Got corner of the eye thing going on.
Have you got
I've
that?
not had that before. I thought I saw someone walking quickly at the top.
Yeah.
And then somebody over there, just really quickly, but you're not sure what it is.
Yeah.
You did? That's where I saw something.
Yeah.
It's difficult to decipher, isn't it, whether it's paranormal or it's a shadow or...
Because it's that kind of dimmed lighting, so you're not quite sure.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
It is.
As we switch our cameras back into night vision, we decide to begin our next set of vigils at the very bottom of the ship. This area once housed both German prisoners of war and the ship's morgue, and is now full of alleged apparitions and poltergeist activity. And as our group tentatively climbed down into this hideous pit, we began to wonder whose despair we may be about to share.
I've got one astral being already. He's kind of like he's very, very emaciated, unkempt, hair unkempt, and a beard, completely filthy, obviously.
Can you get a name with him?
It sounds like Tomaz. So Thomaz.
Tomaz, if you're here, or if there are any other astral beings or spirit people here, please, we want to talk to you.
There are lots. There's lots of pairs of eyes. And it's so, I'm just at the moment sensing eyes watching.
If you look up, the lights look a bit spooky.
It's amazing up there.
Yeah. If you can hear my voice, please give us a definite sign. Can you move something? Can you bang on something? Throw something down at us if you can. Let us know that you're here, that you can hear us.
Didn't you hear those 2 notes? You got responses then, yeah?
It's so difficult because you don't, because it's a groaning ship, isn't it? So
Yeah.
it's,
You need 2 taps rather than 1.
yeah. Gentlemen, Tomaz, if you can hear me, please, could you tap twice if you can hear my voice?
Hitting my head.
Something hitting your hand.
They're hitting my head.
They're
Oh,
hitting
they're
your
hitting your
head.
head.
Yes.
Are they?
Something was just tugging at my pocket.
Yeah, they're hitting my head.
Okay.
Can you make the temperature drop where we are? Can you make us all go very cold? So we know you're around us.
Carl, you all right?
No, not really.
What's the matter?
Carl's not all right. He's swaying a bit.
You all right? Do you feel dizzy? Do you want to go?
No. Well, you tell me when.
You just need to keep your eyes open, Carl. Try not to close them. That might help you.
I'll sit down.
Thanks
Yeah.
for frozen.
Be careful. If you've got a torch somewhere, just so Carl can sit back a bit.
Careful where you go, Carl.
You all right, sweetie?
They're shaking.
Oh, I always shake when I work.
You all right?
All right, Carl.
What do you suggest we do, David?
I don't know. I'm a bit worried about Carl. You see, the problem we have is sometimes they'll impress upon someone like Carl rather than me because it's an easier target in a way.
Come on, Carl, sweetie.
Carl, I think we should get you out.
Come on,
You're
love.
not fine, are you? You need to walk about a bit before you tackle that ladder.
Yeah, come on.
Because I feel sick and I'm trained, you know. You know what I mean?
Come on. Come on.
I just think he needs to walk it out a bit.
You all right?
I'm going to play, Bob.
Okay.
Carl, wiggle your toes for me and your fingers just so it brings you back.
Just stay where you are.
Just rest on me, pal. Sit back. What are you feeling, Carl? Numb?
Numb.
Where are you feeling numb?
Just all over, yeah.
Do you feel sick?
What you need to do is reverse, you know the visualisation we do when we start?
Yeah.
Reverse it, so you reverse the light and see the light coming up and through you and pushing up. So it's forcing up rather than coming down. And it's just forcing, if you imagine the light going through every fibre of your being and pushing anything negative out. Again, wiggle your toes for me because it kind of brings you back.
What the hell is it?
It's like someone breathing.
Mm-hmm.
Snoring.
Snoring.
I don't know where he comes.
Listen.
Snoring.
Let's be quiet. Really horrible, that noise.
Must make it feels cleaner.
That sounds like it's getting louder, that noise.
You did sound like it's getting
Isn't it?
louder.
You hear that
Oh,
noise?
yeah, it is.
It's louder.
It is getting louder.
That's coming towards us.
Just be quiet, everyone.
This is getting louder.
It's getting closer.
We need to go.
Why do we need to go?
We just need to go.
Let's go.
It's going now.
Stop just completely though.
Yeah.
Anyway, how are you feeling?
Not good, thanks.
Yeah, can you stand up? You sure?
Sure, Carl.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Stand up for a bit then, let's see.
We find ourselves not just 8 fathoms below sea level, but in a horrid and insufferable area that has literally wiped out David and now Carl. And once more, a beastly noise has left each and every one of us fearing this maze of walls and corridors. But were our fears founded, and how many more amazing discoveries stood in our way?
I just saw someone sat there.
What?
I just saw someone sat there, sat on the edge of the slide.
Are you kidding?
Our time in California continues, but most haunted have swapped Long Beach's sun-stroked streets for the dark and dangerous depths of a former cruise ship and wartime vessel, the Queen Mary. Its lower decks were already a major cause for concern, but still eager to face such fears, we split into groups. Carl and Stuart head to the ship's stern and door 13, the scene of a gruesome death in 1966, where a young man called John was crushed to death by a sliding door. Meanwhile, I had taken charge of Kieran's thermal image camera as he and I went to the purser's office, where a sudden series of intriguing phenomena would await us.
It's just like going back in time, and it's like a, I don't know, ghost ship.
We're the only survivors.
Yeah, it's like the Mary Celeste. Like we come on and it's just empty.
What's red supposed to mean?
Red is heat.
Right, well, what's
Where is that?
Yeah, no, look. Can you see it?
That's from the chair.
Oh, God. That's better. You
That's it.
see, that's the top of the side of a chair. It's almost like someone's touched it. And we didn't come up this far, did we?
No.
Air conditioning, that was air conditioning. This is where he died. He died right here. Right where I am now. That's where he died. have actually shut this part off now, haven't we? They've actually put a steel plate.
Yeah, you can't. The door, I don't know if you can see it, but the door finishes there. They've got this steel plate, so the door can't move, even with this. Even if that could move, which I doubt if it can because of all the paint and stuff, it couldn't go through this. That's protection.
This is Kieran sitting in the chair. A chair that's got heat on it. Does it feel warm?
No. This side is slightly.
Is it?
Just, I mean, it's a very subjective measure. It's only very slight.
Why would that be?
I don't know. My natural reaction is if there's a very, very cold, if it's colder on this side of the room, maybe. But then.
Spooky place.
I'm going to knock on this again. John, if you're here, please answer my knock. I don't need to ridicule you. You're not under any...
Right, you heard that.
I don't need to ridicule you. You're not under any...
See if that chair's still hot. Maybe you're right. Maybe. Do you think it could be reflection?
Well, the seat is warm.
No.
That's creepy, that is.
Let's have a look.
That's so creepy.
Oh, that's horrible.
Do you see the edge again?
That's really weird. No, I reckon give it 10 minutes.
Okay.
So we've got 22 minutes now, so say 32 minutes, come back and if it's still there, then we know that it's just that camera. And it obviously picks up really sensitive. Wouldn't it be great if it disappeared though?
Try to respond to my knock.
That was a door opening. Shit. That was a hinge on a door. That was a door opening. That.
John, if this
Try
is you,
again.
please respond to my knock. Did you hear that? I got 5 knocks then, I think.
I've heard something.
Did you hear that?
Kieran and I decided to leave the purser's office and return there 10 minutes later to see if the handprint on the chair had faded. Whilst we moved one floor down to D deck, Carl and Stuart seemed to have made contact with the ghost that supposedly haunts door 13.
It doesn't feel like the Queen Mary, because when we've been on vigils before, we're just very conscious that we're on. Do you think that's from outside?
It's difficult to tell, but whatever it is, I don't like it. That's not outside.
No.
That is not outside. Shot of me holding your hand. What is that?
Do you want to go down? Do you want to go down?
Come on.
Where's it coming from?
I don't know. I think we should go and check that seat thing. See if
Okay.
it is.
By now, Carl and Stuart had left the ship's stern and met up with both Johns to explore the swimming pool's changing rooms, another area said to be rife with ghostly apparitions.
This is the dressing room.
So it does stink.
You tell me if this isn't a different... Oh, it's come...
Yeah, I can't see a thing. Can you see down there?
I can't see a thing, Stu.
No.
This must be male and female changing rooms. This here is a dividing door. This one's across. So we are smack bang in the middle of this. So if anything, is that Kieran?
Hello?
Is that Kieran?
Anyone there? No? What have you just seen? Don't say you've just seen something, Cal.
I did, I just thought... Has Kieran got a white shirt on?
No, don't do that to us. We've only been in here 5 minutes, pal.
Carl had been mistaken. Who had he seen? Certainly not Kieran, who stood with me in the purser's office 2 floors above.
Yeah, it's gone.
So?
The handprint is gone, which means that we're doing that experiment because there was still warmth on the seat of the chair after I had sat on it, and it was about 10 minutes had gone by.
Yeah.
So, put my hand on there, and after 10 minutes it's gone. And that's quite unusual. That's very strange. I was sitting on the chair for a while, but still it was glowing red.
Yeah, glowing red, and I know 10 minutes normally.
After 10 minutes,
yeah.
It was, and you could feel it to the touch. It was
yeah.
quite cold. Yeah, there's nothing on there at all.
As one mystery unfolded before our eyes, another awaited Kieran. Hearing of Carl's sighting of a similar-looking man, he rushed down to join this vigil. And before long, more mystery and mayhem landed at his feet.
Okay, God. No, I'd rather this to lead on, actually.
Carl!
What was that? Where was that? Was that in here?
Guys! Hang on. There's a tile just going.
Someone fallen? Has someone fallen?
Hang on, I don't know.
You alright?
You alright?
Yeah.
What's happened? Has someone fallen over?
No.
What's happened?
Massive crash here.
Hey?
Massive crash.
I heard a crash.
You are shitting me.
Something came out of this hole.
Just 5 crew members were assigned to this investigation, and all were stood at least 30 feet away as a tile smashed against a wall on the far side of the pool, another development that stunned the group. And the force with which we can all hear it break surely rules out the possibility of the tile falling from the wall. F-Deck's former first-class swimming pool is considered one of the ship's most paranormally active areas. And apart from an absence of water, it is indeed a place where time has stood still. And we had to return. This time to see what David Wells thought of this truly amazing environment.
I hate this place.
Are you nervous?
The atmosphere just changes.
I know.
In a second, isn't it? As soon as something happens,
If there's a spirit person, an astral being, a child, a woman, a man, a gentleman.
I've just seen one at
What?
the top of the stairs there.
What?
I saw a head at the top of the stairs run down.
Please.
small thing.
Yeah, a small one.
Like a child.
Yeah.
If there's a little girl or a little boy here that loves swimming, please don't be frightened. Please come forward. Please try and talk to us. We don't mean you any harm. Come and play.
I do feel as if I'm being watched here, you know. You feel as if you're being watched. I do.
It's breathing. What was that?
That was me breathing in.
Do it again.
That was a whistle.
It was not.
Oh, no? No?
It didn't sound to me like you're breathing in.
Oh, God, that scared me to death. What was that noise? It's breathing. What was that? It was moving up there. I heard it. Tell me what you heard and saw.
I didn't hear anything, but I saw a big shape like a man in that central bit where, right in front of me.
I just had a cold blast of air on my face.
I almost felt like somebody touched my ponytail then.
Might be the little girl. That's what we had when we were in the change rooms, wasn't it?
What is that?
Is there anybody there?
What about if we went up the top? Oh, I suddenly come over really sick.
Really?
I come over really, like...
Alright.
Yeah. Oh, and I've not eaten much. I haven't eaten, well, you know I haven't. Oh, you know when you get the saliva in your jaws?
You sweat.
Were you getting anything? I'm seeing, I don't know if it's just the corner of the eye thing, but every I just feel like there's something running around the top row. Every time I look, I'm just missing. I just get the sense of something going around.
Can we go up to the top?
Yeah? We just got these stairs here.
Then we should go up there.
I just saw someone sat there.
What?
Oh, just saw someone sat there, sat on the edge of the slide.
You kidding? Did you?
You're alright? Yeah.
What did they look like?
A woman, was she wearing swimwear?
Yeah, white.
Oh, wow. John.
This is incredible. I've just never experienced anything like this.
Full apparitions and strange phenomena, and yet more paranormal activity still stood by. One question now loomed large. Is the Queen Mary America's, or even the world's, most haunted?
I'm a bit worried about Carl.
It's not outside.
That is absolutely awesome.
To our excitement and disbelief, the pool area of the Queen Mary had further revealed the hidden eyes that often greet California's modern-day visitors.
There's lots of pairs of eyes. And it's so, I'm just at the moment sensing eyes watching.
If you look up, the lights look a bit spooky.
It's amazing up there.
Because John had seen his first apparition, we all wanted to go back to the pool on one final vigil to try to see this woman for ourselves. And we were justified in doing so, because even before our cameras had started to record, some of the crew realised that she did appear to have left something behind, and an incident that we appeared to have been forewarned of.
I feel here now as if she was standing here, she'd just be dripping of water. And she's in a bathing costume, and she just can't believe that she's no longer physical. It's like the immediate shock that she's a spirit person, still not understanding she's a spirit person.
Here, look at that. Like someone's walked up those stairs. There's one here. There's one here. Richard, look at this.
Somebody down the next room.
Just look at that. That is absolutely awesome. There's one up here that's almost dry.
Look at the water where it's come out. It's come out the pool.
Where's the
It's like it's dripped off.
Yeah.
Oh, it has come out.
It's climbed up the steps. It's dripped off, and then the footstep.
Where is that water? That water wasn't there before.
John, look at this. Just look at this footstep here. Just look at my screen. That's dried up. Look.
Can you still get it?
Yeah, look at that.
But they were wet. When we came down here, when we came down here, they were still wet. As if somebody just came
Well, the water's still here, look. Here.
But it's drying up. I mean, that's half the amount of water that there was.
It's bare feet. I mean,
It is bare feet.
Oh, they seem to be quite small feet.
They seem to be women's sized feet.
The only problem.
And I know where everyone was. Everyone was accounted for, so I don't understand how.
No, I mean, everyone else, this is it, everybody was in the crew room.
And they were wet when we came down, as if it
It's
just
drying pretty
happened.
rapidly. I have to admit that was kind of.
They were both really wet, as if they'd just.
Mr. Skeptic talking here, though. There's only one thing I'm not sure about. If a ghost did this, then this is ghost water.
But they've walked back on themselves.
No, listen, this is ghost water.
Is there any such thing as ghost wars?
No, of course there isn't. Yeah, but this is one of the phenomena that's been seen in here.
Yeah, you know what I'm getting at, don't you?
Yeah, but where's the water?
If you don't see the ghost, you don't see the water. We can see the water. Why aren't we seeing the
That
ghost?
water's drying.
But at the end of the day, this is where this is. I know what you're saying, but if this is indeed, and it's a massive if.
Yeah.
Yeah. If this is indeed some sort of paranormal activity, then it's been and gone.
So what do you think then? Have we had paranormal activity then, Richard? What would you say?
This is as paranormal as
If we're ever going to get.
I think we've got paranormal activity here. I can't explain this. I am excited. I think the world should know about this.
That is one of the best pieces.
The footage we've ever come across, I think, that, isn't it?
The trouble is, I don't want to call it evidence because it wasn't it's not a controlled area, but I can honestly say I think that out of the things we've done, that's got to rate up there with some, and that is extremely interesting. I'm impressed with that.
The footprints that we and now you can see were all the more remarkable as a salt residue was left behind. And it has been confirmed that despite its current empty appearance, this pool did once use water taken from the ocean. Is this the finest visual evidence that Most Haunted has ever captured? Wet footprints that remain indelible in every crew member's mind. So what are the ship's claims of holding astral energies? We arrived here intent upon our largest ever investigation. And after all of the phenomena caught on camera, we certainly feel our time and energy was well spent. Is the Queen Mary haunted? Only you can decide.
It's just like going back in time. And it's like a, I don't know, ghost ship.
A feeling of anger, screaming, shouting.
Someone's been trapped in here, and I keep coming back to a child.
Oh, I've got to get out.
I'm a bit worried about Carl.
Yeah, I can't breathe.
It's not outside.
I saw someone sat on the edge of the slide.
You kidding?
Well, awesome is the only word I can use. And I have to start with the best, the swimming pool, because there's no getting away from it. In my opinion, the swimming pool is the most atmospheric place, and it is the most haunted place.
I've just never experienced anything like this. One of the most interesting apparition sightings, and I may add, only apparition sighting, was by John Gilbert, our sound man, who actually witnessed a lady around the diving board area. This is very, very different from corner of the eye phenomena because he actually saw her and he was facing forward, his eyes were facing forward, and it wasn't an issue of light or shadows going past his visual perceptive field.
What did they look like?
But the footprints in the swimming pool, for me, is the best bit of the whole shoot. It's reported on many occasions that people actually see wet footprints. And we went along to do a vigil, middle of the night. Not only did we get footprints, but we actually got water that had dripped from something, at the top of the stairs coming out of the pool. And then I think something like 7 footprints.
So what do you think then? Have we had paranormal activity then, Richard? What would you say?
This is as paranormal as
If we're ever going to get.
I think we've got paranormal activity here. I can't explain this.
Now for me, this very interesting phenomena because we have an objective measure of it. It's not fleeting, it doesn't disappear. We actually have a record of it. For this reason, I'm quite interested in taking this part of the investigation further. And in collaboration with Carl, what we would like to do is actually send it off to a forensic examiner to try and establish for the footprints what gender it might have been, or at least maybe what height and weight the person is we're looking at. We've got phenomena here that we can examine in greater detail.
But at the end of the day, it's pretty convincing. And in my opinion, it's one of the best things that's ever happened to us on any of the shows we've done. It was fantastic.
So that is one of the best pieces.
The footage we've ever come across, I think, that, isn't it?
In summary, the lower decks of the Queen Mary provided, I think, substantial more phenomena and substantial more experiences of interest for the most haunted team.
We have a ship that no longer has any engines, but it still has a heart, it still has a soul, and it still has an awful lot of souls on board. A ship that was once called the Grey Ghost, and at the end of the day, in my opinion, there's no doubt this ship, the Queen Mary, is a very haunted ship.
Less than 70 years after she first set sail, are we staring at a grounded ship that supposedly plays host to the active energies of both human and astral beings? Until next time, sleep tight.